discuss Prabhupada's purports. So, we'll start with the fourth chapter, but before that, small revision of third chapter also to make us remember. Third chapter is very simple to remember. A first section where Sukadeva Goswami is talking about various demigod worships and their benefits. This is what he is speaking in the third chapter. How by worshipping different demigods you get benefited. How this came? Because in the second chapter only the conclusion comes that what a person need to do. That's what Sukadeva Goswami says, that what a person who is in the verge of death he has to do. He gives this Tasmat Sarvatmana Rajan Harir Sarvatra Sarvada Shrutavya Kirtavya Smartavya Bhagwananam. Then he comes to the next chapter. Okay, if somebody has some desires, he can go to different demigods and you can fulfill. But in the answer, but it does not matter. Better you go to Krishna. Kama Sarva Kamava Moksha Kamudari Tivrena Bhakti Yogin Ajata Purusha Param. Better is to perform devotional service. Now, and after that, Saunaka Rishis, they start expressing their enthusiasm to him. They say they appreciate and they say that every rising and setting of the sun, Ayur Harate Vaipum Samudyanastam Channasu Tasyate Kshananita Uttama Shloka Vartaya. And then they start telling that what is the value of living if you are not utilizing in Krishna's service. Does the tree not live? Does the willow of a blacksmith does not breathe? And what type of people appreciate hawks, dogs, camels, and asses? And then like that they start the eyes are like a plumes of a peacock, ears are like a holes of a snake, and tongue will be cropping of frog. And like that they say upper portion of the body is going to be drowned. And the important verse here is that the next one, that a person who is not at any time before the dust of the lotus feet of a pure devotee on his head certainly is a dead body. And a person who has not experienced aroma of tulsi from the lotus feet of Lord is also a dead body. Like that, although breathing. So this is how they compare it to. And then this is a very famous shloka which we have to remember. Tadasmasaram hridayam badedam. If you have taken a jihvagre, a grihamane harinama dehe. If I am not getting tears in my eyes after taking the name of Lord Krishna, that means the heart is still framed. Na vikriyeta yata vikaro netram netre jalam gatra ruheshu harshaha. This is a state of a person whose heart is very hard. And then last shloka, this is your Vasudha Goswami, your words are pleasing to our minds. Please therefore explain to us. It was spoken by the great devotee Sukadeva Goswami, who is very expert in transcendental knowledge and who spoke to the Maharaj Parikshit upon being asked. This is the question. Now, this chapter is very important, but before that, I wanted to explain how this is a very proper formation of ego. I just said yesterday I will want to speak on this. We need to understand how here the relationship with spiritual master. This is a very important relationship. Sonaka Rishis, how they are related to Sutta Goswami, and how Parikshit Maharaj is related to Sukadeva Goswami. All this because there are so many people are sentimentally connected. But we need to understand that our ego or self-image is about who I am. And accordingly, there are essential provisions that follow with this, that what I need, why I live for, what I have to do. This can be understood when we understand what is our real relation, sorry, what is our ego. Now, ego is formed on the process of relationships. And based on that ego, then we try to understand what is my need, what is what I have to live for, and what I have to do. Now, how this ego is formed, it will be little discussion we'll try to do. The ego never arises on its own. Our self-image is always a result or the product of relationship we enter into other people. Like we can never see, like how we to understand, we can never see ourselves. But what we see ourselves is the reflection in the mirror, right? Similarly, we will not be able to know ourselves directly. We know ourselves about who am I. We only know as a result of we are reflected in the minds of other people with whom we enter into relationship. Now, how I know I am a intelligent person? Because 10 people are telling I am intelligent, then I see myself as an intelligent person. If I see like this is what I am. If people, everybody say you are responsible, it is the reflection of what I am in their mind. Then I also start thinking, yes, yes, I am very responsible because everybody, that's what we see ourselves. We are reflection of the uh, reflection in the mind of people with whom we are interacting. I'll again repeat. Now, how will I know myself? Now I'm seeing myself in this mirror. Then I can see myself. I am only a reflection of what I am seeing. This mirror is reflecting me. It's I can never see myself, but I can see only the reflection. Similarly, when I interact with people and I enter into a relationship with people, and in that relationship, I am reflected. And I say, oh, I am a son, I am a husband, I am wife, I am father, or I am so and so. All these things I am just, it's a reflection of my relationship only. Now, relationship with spiritual master is also no exception. In relation with spiritual master, we must form our real self, our real ego. All other relationship are false ego only. Only one relationship is real ego, that is with the spiritual master. False ego means what? I am great, I am this, I am the first, and these are mine, I am something big. But in relation with spiritual master, we need to understand one thing, that is, our idea about ourselves is formed correctly. Because in that way, in the end, we can understand, yes, I am servant. Because in relation with spiritual master, we have only one relation. I am servant of my spiritual master. Now, in all other aspects, we, whether voluntarily or unvoluntarily, there is always this feeling that I am the Lord. I am the boss. I came to in this material world to lord it over to enjoy. But when it comes to relation with spiritual master, it should be completely, we have to give up this idea that I am the boss. In relation with spiritual master, we understand, yes, I am eternally servant of Krishna. This actually changes. In this relationship, I understand I am servant. I will always remain servant of him and in all situations, and this can never be changed. This is an eternal truth. Chakshudan diloje, janme janme prabhu se. This person is my master life after life. And this practice is aimed at so that in the end we understand the difficult truth for ourselves is I am not the boss, I am servant. Now, this is not very easy because our ego resists. We may say theoretically, ego will not allow us to accept it. Ego kicks off this understanding and it needs deep relationship so that the concept is also very deep. Now, from books, we draw some theoretical understanding, theoretical knowledge is there that I am servant. But what does it mean in practice? We need a lively relationship so that this does go deeper. That means I need to really feel my spiritual master, I am servant, and it should be very deeply ingrained. Then only, if it is not remaining, it should not just remain on the surface of my consciousness. Otherwise, we may say, but we always may not mean it. And relationship, they are correctly formed, healthy. There are two aspects. This is little important. Please try to understand. There are two aspects, two qualities. Firstly, healthy relationship. This is applicable to all relationship which we have in our life. For a healthy relationship should be unconditional. This is very important for a person to ensure that the ego is formed correctly. I'll explain. What does that mean? That means the person should feel he is accepted, he is recognized, that is, he is known and is valued. If, like for example, if you beat a child and all the time you say that, Array, you cannot do it, you are useless, you are a stupid, you are nonsense, you are that. And what happens? You don't behave properly. If you start speaking same tone to again, then what happens? He will become very ugly child. He will be very distorted. He will have very painful ego. And he will always want to prove what you are saying, that I am dirty person, so I should prove maybe I am dirty. And he will start behaving like that. Because the ego is becoming programmed in that way. You are telling you are bad, you are bad, you are bad. He will start because I told we are just a reflection of what people feel about ourselves. Then oh I am bad only because that is what is reflected. Especially in childhood, this is very dangerous. And he want to prove. Now when there is emotional acceptance, or if there is no emotional acceptance of or recognition, which happens in relationship, which is not based on some logic, then that is, if it is not based on logic, then there is no problem. The relationship should not be based on logic. Like what does it mean if I like that? Like if they recognize me based on some calculation. Calculation means if they recognize me not because I am like this, because I can achieve something, because I can perform something, and people are recognizing based on that, then that result is will be very difficult. Like they always want something from me. They want me to perform. If they are recognizing me in that way, like say, uh, if my people are seeing me, oh, this person gives class. Now, if they are seeing me class, every time I have to give class only, I have to perform. That means my relation is based on that only. It is not a real relationship. They should accept me what I am. Then it becomes easy. But if there is not recognized, there is something else, then it will be wrong. This is a false thing. If a child is always, and there is also another thing. One is the recognition just on the external. They are not recognizing me, they are recognizing my performance or my abilities. Second is you are just accepting anything and everything. If you say the child, oh, you always praise the child and pamper the child, what will happen? He will become, he will get destroyed. He will get, what is it? Spoiled. nothing good will happen to it. That means what happens to the child if he is always appreciated, always pampered, then there is a problem. He always thinks, oh, I am this only, I am this only. No, we have to make him understand what he is and we have to accept him like that, especially in childhood. And now I will, the second aspect. So, first aspect is the relationship should not be based on something, what I am. It should be as it is. Like uh, many people, when they are rich, they'll get so many relationships. If they're famous, if they're intelligent, if they're very attractive, then they'll have so many relations. What does it mean? People are not relating to them, they are relating to the talent they have. Another is second aspect of relationship, because once in this relationship my correct self image should be found. This correct self image has two things. On one hand, everything I do is accepted. This is very important. If I am accepted, like say example, Lord Ramchandra, when the squirrel comes in making the bridge, it goes, wets its body, rolls on the ground, goes to the bridge, and then just wipes his, then they move his body and some sand falls. And it was so ecstatic. And in between, with great enthusiasm, he was doing this service. And in between, he was time to time, he was chanting Ramchandra Bhagwan ki jai. And Hanuman saw this ridiculous squirrel and he said, what are you doing? And who needs your service of this? And, and he said, who needs you like this? Ramchandra Bhagwan said, I need him like this. Because this is, and he says, for me it is same. Your big, big boulders and this squirrel, no difference for me. Because, uh, and Ramchandra takes the squirrel and just strokes on him. The three strips come, and now also they are very proudly hanged. Now, what is important here is there must be recognition, but it must be based on the fact that of service. There is no conditions in the no self-interest, but no conditional. Like whatever I'm doing service, that is appreciated. I need not be like a very, like say I'm giving class. People, some people will accept, okay, this is this much. Now I cannot expect that, okay, now I should be able to do give classes in this level in this way. No, no, no. Whatever I want to give, I'll give this much, and that is accepted because that is what I can do. That is the service I can do. I do that service. Somebody can do some other service, they will do that much service. So it's not a how much you are doing. You are doing whatever best, and your talent is accepted. That's all. That is actually a proper relation. A person should try to serve because my position is a servant. You may be doing as a service as a squirrel, you may be doing a service as Hanuman, but both services are accepted by Lord Ramchandra. It is not the quantity. So relationship should be accepted. Like you, first thing is there should be acceptance of whatever they are. Second is not just acceptance; it's also service. You accept the service because this will form the self image of the person, which is very helpful. There is no conditions, in the sense there is no self interest, but there is only one condition, that the person should try to serve, and he must understand very well that is why I came here in this material world. I came here in order to understand I am the servant. And that's why in Vedic society there is no problem. Brahmanas used to do their job, Kshatriya their job, Vaishyas their job, Shudras their job, and everybody is accepted. They know, okay, he knows that I can do only pottery service, I'll remain a potter, whole life I'll do, and everybody appreciates his service because he can do that, and he will say, yeah, do good, very nice. And he not compete. Arey, why I'm not a Brahmana, why I'm not this. And he don't want to go, don't want to climb the success of ladder. He says, now I'm a potter, next, by next 2 3 years I'll become a blacksmith, then I'll jump to goldsmith, then I'll go for a, then I will maybe I'll become a big businessman, then I may become the king, and then I may. He's not competing because he's accepted and he is happy with that. That is how they can do Nishkam Karma Yoga. Otherwise, it is not possible. That I'll just explain. Now, the point is, this is relationship. Now, I'll explain further. We understand that I came here to serve. That is why here to understand that I am servant and I will always stay with as a servant only, so that I can learn to serve Krishna and learn to, of course, we will trouble Krishna with our service, but Krishna will not be troubled. And we are trying to give joy and deliver joy to Krishna. Now, this is what should happen between spiritual master and servant also. Now, there are two things that are needed for the spiritual master. He is in our life the source of two things, Bala and Jnana. Bala means strength. We need it in order to engage in our spiritual practice. Spiritual power is needed in order to overcome all the obstacles that are likely to get in our way. And it takes strength, determination, enthusiasm. This is called Bana. Jnana is knowledge. We must very nicely and clearly understand that who am I, what am I doing, what is the point, and what is the activities I need to do, and we need to know what are the rules. That is sadhana. This is the game for us. We train, we rehearsal, but the goal is very deeper. What is the goal? The purpose of our the purpose of this is to completely radically change nature of our consciousness and our attitude to everything. This is very important. Please try to hear. The purpose of our sadhana is to change completely the nature of our consciousness, the nature of our attitude, especially because this relationship becomes the prism through which I began to build all other relationship. Especially my relation with spiritual master will help me build all other relationship. That's how we should build, because our relationship with spiritual master is the real ego. All other relationship before that are false ego. Now, if I build my relation with my spiritual master properly, that is, I am building my true ego, right? When true, we discuss based on ego only, who am I, what I need, what to do, what I want. All these things are decided based on ego. Now, presently, the ego is false ego. Now we are forming our real ego with whom? Spiritual master. And ego is formed as two aspects. One is accept as we are. Second is service or whatever activity we are doing. Based on that, we are recognized. Now, most important thing is not how much we are doing. Most important thing is I am servant. I need to do something as a servant. That is more important than the what I am doing. Now, the purpose of this is to completely change our consciousness, our attitude to everything. Because this relationship become the prism through which I build all other relationship. Relation with other Vaishnavas are right. If the relationship built correctly, then I gain the ability to build right relationship with other Vaishnavas. Then second thing, other Vaishnavas are with equals, with elders, with youngers. And I have a real respect for elders. I have a desire to serve the friends and equals, and I desire to take care of the younger ones. Now, if these relations are built correctly, please understand what will happen with this. Then I can relate to all people correctly. I will not look down on any of them. I will not divide the whole world into me and mine. This is, and even in those relationships, in relation with everyone I meet, I will always remain a servant. And in relation with material energy, with the creation of God, in discharge of my duties, what I must do directly, I will always remain servant only. Whereas if the idea that I am servant is very superficial, then I may say I am servant, but my practice will be I am Ishvara, like Radhanand Maharaj says, first you are Das. First you are Dasanadas, then you are Das, then you become Prabhu, then you become Mahaprabhu, then you start competing with Mahaprabhu only. That's how. Uh, Hope you are understood the discussion which we are doing. The relationship with spiritual, how the ego is formed. We have to develop a relation with spiritual master, that I am servant. It should be much more deeper. And then when we develop that relation with spiritual master, based on that relation, we should develop relation with others, with equals, juniors and seniors. And then when you have that relation properly, then with everybody in this world, we can relate them properly, because we relate with everybody as I am servant. This consciousness will help. Clear? Any questions, doubts on this? Okay. Now we'll come to the process of creation. This is also second aspect, second chapter, which is third and fourth chapter, which tells about enthusiasm. So we just discuss about relation with spiritual master, because previous chapter is about Savanakadrishis with Sutta Goswami. And here Sutta Goswami said, Maharaj Parikshit. Now Savanakadrishis expressed their gratitude and enthusiasm. Now Sutta Goswami is starting. Sutta Goswami said, Maharaj Parikshit, the son of Uttara, after hearing the speeches of Sukadeva Goswami, which were all about truth of self, applied his concentration faithfully upon Lord Krishna. Purport. The word Satim is very significant. This means existing and chaste. Both imports are perfectly applicable in the case of Maharaj Parikshit. The whole Vedic culture is to draw one's attention entirely onto the lotus feet of Lord Krishna without any diversions, as instructed in Bhagavad Gita 15.15. Fortunately, Maharaj Parikshit had already been attracted to Lord from the very beginning of his body in the womb of his mother. In the womb of his mother was struck by the Brahmastra atomic bomb released by Ashwatthama, but by the grace of Lord, he was saved from being hurt by the fury weapon, and since then the king continuously concentrated his mind upon Lord Krishna, which made him perfectly chaste in devotional service. So, by natural consequences, he was chaste devotee of the Lord, and when he further heard from Srila Sukadeva Goswami that one should worship the Lord only and no one else, even though full of all desires or desireless, his natural affection for Krishna was strengthened. He was already We have already discussed these topics. Now, this Prabhupada writes, very nice point. To become a pure devotee of Lord Krishna, two things are very essential. Namely, having a chance to be born in the family of a devotee and having the blessings of a bona fide spiritual master. By the grace of Lord, King Parikshit Maharaj had both opportunities. He was born in a family of such devotees as Pandavas, and just to continue the dynasty of Pandavas and show them the special favor, the Lord specifically saved Maharaj Parikshit, who later on, by the arrangement of Lord, was cursed by the bar of a Brahmana and was able to get the association of such a spiritual master as Sukadeva Goswami. Prabhupada writes in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is said that a fortunate person, by the mercy of spiritual master and Lord Krishna, achieves a path of devotional service. Consequently, it is said, the consequent Lord Krishna gave the king further chance for development of devotional service by introducing him to Sukadeva Goswami. Who is doing this? Krishna only doing. For us also, who will do? Krishna only do. And by hearing from a bona fide spiritual, was perfectly able to concentrate his chaste mind further unto Lord Krishna as a matter of course. This is a very important shloka. You have to by heart this. Atmajaya Sutagara पशु द्रविण बंधुषु राज्ये चाविकले नित्यं विरूढ़ा ममतां जहु. One more time. Atmajaya sudagara पशु द्रविण बंधुषु राज्ये चाविकले नित्यं विरूढ़ा ममतां जहु. Very nice. This is Maharaj Parikshit as a whole, as a result of his wholehearted attraction for Lord Krishna, was able to give up all deep-rooted attachment for his personal body, his wife, his children, his palace, his animals like horses, an elephant, his treasury house, his friends and relatives, and his undisputed kingdom. So, what all things Parikshit Maharaj could give up because of his strong attachment to the lotus feet and devotional service of Lord is Atma. Atma is body, Jaya is wife, Suta, Gara means Suta is children, Agara is palace, Pashu is horses and elephants. Now we have cars and bikes and all. And Dravina is his treasury house, bank balance, all these things. And Bandhushu is friends and relatives, Rajya is kingdom, Cha. Avikale without being disturbed, Nityam by Virudha, very, very deep. It is so deep for everyone, for all the people. And especially, it's not that in family life people they are just doing sense gratification. It is a responsibility. But what happens while doing this responsibility, they also expect some pleasure in it. And the bondage is that pleasure only. As long as we have the desire to enjoy that pleasure which comes from family life or any situation we are, that is the cause of bondage in this material world. And to give it up is very difficult. And what happens when you experience the pleasure, we become attached to it. That is the deep rooted attachment, and it is very difficult to cut it. Any enjoyment, and especially when the enjoyment is giving so much pleasure for the ego and the emotions, very, very difficult. We so strongly identify. And what is the solution? Which we discussed just now. These are all false egos. Because of false ego, we are deeply getting attached to here. What we should do? Develop the right ego. And right ego, how we develop? By developing a relation with spiritual master. What is the relation we have with spiritual master? I am servant of my guru. And when we develop this really real ego, and based on that real ego, we start developing again a relationship with seniors, juniors, equals, and that's how the relation. And relation with spiritual master is he's accepting whatever we are, and he's accepting whatever little service we are doing. But most important is I had to do service to spiritual master. That was the discussion which we had for almost half an hour. Hope it is clear. Now Parikshit Maharaj is able to give all these things. And Prabhupada writes nice purport. He says, to become liberated means to become free from Dehatma Buddhi. Dehatma Buddhi means what? I am this body and I am this mind. This is called Deha Atma Buddhi. Our Buddhi start identifying with Deha and Atma. That's it. The illusory attachment for personal bodily coverings and everything connected with the body, namely wife, children, and all other entanglements. One selects a wife for bodily comforts, and the result is children. For wife and children, one requires a dwelling place, and as such, a residential house is also necessary. Animals like horses, elephants, cows, and dogs are all household animals, and a householder has to keep them as household paraphernalia. In the modern civilization, the horses and elephants have been replaced by cars and conveyances with considerable horsepower. To maintain all these household affairs, one has to increase the bank balance and be careful about the treasury house. And in order to display the opulence of material essence, one has to keep good relationship with friends. You have so many things, but whom to show? That means you have friends. More you are richer you are, the more friends you have because you attend more parties. You have to show more that I am very rich. And one has to keep good relationship with friends and relatives as well as become very careful about maintaining the status quo. This is called material civilization or material attachment. Prabhupada writes, devotion for Lord Krishna means negation of all material attachments as detailed above. That means we should give up all these things. That is our devotion. By the grace of Lord, King Maharaj Parikshit was awarded all material amenities and an undisputed kingdom in which to enjoy the undisputed position of the king. But by the grace of love, he was able to give up all connections with material. Lord gave him everything, but by the mercy of Lord, he was able to give up also everything. Both was possible by mercy of Lord. That is the position of a pure devotee. Maharaj Parikshit, due to his natural affection for Lord Krishna as a devotee of the Lord, was always executing his royal duties on behalf of the Lord, and as a responsible king of the world, he was always careful to see that the influence of Kali would not enter his kingdom. A devotee of Lord never thinks of his household paraphernalia as own, but surrenders everything for the service of Lord. Thereby, living entities under the devotee's care get the opportunity for good civilization by management of a devotee master. This para is very important. Attachment for household paraphernalia and for Krishna go poorly together. So please understand. Prabhupada is giving nice, valuable instruction. Attachment for household paraphernalia and for Krishna go poorly together. That means if you are so much attached to your washing machine, your refrigerator, and television, and car, and other sofa set, and curtains, and dining, and this, that, then the attachment for Krishna will not be very strong. One attachment is the path of darkness, other attachment is path of light. Where there is light, there is no darkness. And when there is darkness, there is no light. But an expert devotee, this is very important. Now, not that we have to throw all the items from out of the house now. Prabhupada said, but an expert devotee can turn everything on the path of light by an attitude of service to the Lord. And this happens when we have attitude service to spiritual master. And the best example here is the Pandavas, Maharaj Yudhishthira and household. Now, how we know whether we are doubting? Because we will not be attached to the item. We are attached to what? We are attached to the service. Then we will not be attached to the items of the house. We are interested to have nice uh, paraphernalia in the house. We want to have big house so that we can invite devotees for prasadam. We want to have a nice kitchen and nice dining where we can cook nicely to serve devotees. And everything we are wanting, but not for ourselves, since graduating it is for service. Maharaj Yudhishthir and householder like him can tune everything to light by dovetailing so-called material resources in the service of Lord. But one who is not trained or is unable to tune everything in the service of Lord, Nirbandhe Krishna Sambandhe, must give up all material connections before he can be fit to hear and chant the glories of Lord. When these things now they will not affect us more. When these things come, when we are nicely doing chanting, hearing, reading every day morning, continue doing this hearing in the morning. Our intelligence, our buddhi is always fresh, will not get very easily entangled. In other words, one who is like Maharaj Parikshit has seriously heard Srimad Bhagavatam for even one day from a fit person like Sudhir Goswami may be able to lose all affinity for material things. There is no utility simply in imitating Maharaj Parikshit and hearing Bhagavatam from professional men. There is no use in Bhagavatam even for 7 days. Even for 700 years, Prabhupada says. This is a nice point. There is no utility simply by imitating Maharaj Parikshit and hearing Srimad Bhagavatam from professional mind even for 700 years. To take Srimad Bhagavatam as a means of maintaining family expenditure is the grossest type of namapad offense at the feet of the Lord. Sarva Shubha Kriya Samyam Api Pramadaha. That means anybody who charges for Bhagavad Sapta, he is actually is committing offenses and no need to hear from him. It's waste of time. Mandanam Lokaranjanam. That's it. Question is, how can Grasthas serve and develop that feeling, Prabhuji, for spiritual master following by like that? Yes, we have to hear from spiritual master or from the representative of spiritual master, or from, of course, we are hearing from Prabhupada. It's not Diksha Guru. Siksha Guru is also, we can hear. And Siksha Guru is on equal level with Diksha Guru. They have crossed the stage of Nishtha. And now in this, um, sorry, there is some power cut. So here, yeah, we have to develop that relation with spiritual master in the association of very senior devotees. When we are hearing regularly, then we develop this feelings for our spiritual master, which is very important for us. Of course, when we start, service is what is most important, which helps us to uh, develop a relation with spiritual master, develop that ego. Do some service to spiritual master, you'll feel. Oh, this is also service, hearing regularly Bhagavatam. Apart from that, for the mission, we can do some service. We can preach or assist some preachers who are already doing. That way also we can develop a relationship. Basically, our relation with our spiritual master is the service that we are rendering. The relation is based on service. Of course, there are many other things to be discussed, but some other time I will discuss it in more detail. Any other questions, comments till now? Which this paragraph or the topic which discussed on developing our proper ego? Any questions, comments? Oh, great sages! The great soul Maharaj Parikshit, constantly wrapped in thoughts of Lord Krishna, knowing well of his imminent death, renounced all sort of fruitive activities, namely acts of religion, economic development, and sense gratification, and thus fixed himself firmly in his natural love for Krishna and asked all these questions exactly as you are asking. Now, there are three things, Prabhupada. The three activities of religion, economic development, sense gratification, dharma, artha, and kama, are generally attractive for conditioned souls struggling for existence in material world. Such regulated activities prescribed in the Vedas are called karma kandiya, conception of life, and householders are generally recommended to follow the rules just to enjoy material prosperity both in this life and next. Most people are attracted by such activities, though in modern godless civilization, people are more concerned with economic development and gratification without any religious sentiments. This is very important. Now, people want Artha and Kama, but they are not doing any Dharma only. That is the problem of Kali Yuga people. As a great emperor of the world, Maharaj Parikshit has to observe such regulations of Vedic Karmakanda section, but by his slight association with Sukadeva Goswami, he could perfectly understand that Lord Krishna, the absolute personality of Godhead, from whom he had a natural love since his birth, is everything, and thus he fixed his mind firmly upon him, renouncing all modes of Vedic karma kandi activities. This perfectional stage is attained by Jnani after many, many births. Maharaj Parikshit is specifically qualified with the word Mahamana, which puts him on equal level with Mahatmas described in Bhagavad Gita. And Prabhupada gives two shlokas in which what is the mood that should be there. So what is the mood according to Sikshashtakam last verse? Asli Shava Padartam Pinashtumam. And we have to give up all this karma kandiya and whole and solely. So this is what Prabhupada. In the later age also, there had been many Mahatmas of this type, and they have given up all karma kandiya conception of life solely and wholly, depending on the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Lord Chaitanya, who is Lord Krishna himself, start up in his Sikshashtakam, Ashlishtava Padaratam Pinashtumam Adarshana Marmahatam Karotuva Yata Tatava Vidadatu Lampato Prananathasta Sayevana. Lord Krishna, who is a lover of many devotees, may embrace this fully surrendered maidservant, or may trample me with his feet, or he may render me broken-hearted by not being present before me for a long duration of time, but still he is nothing less than absolute Lord of my heart. So whatever he is doing, he will be my Lord. This is one mood. And another mood, which is the continuation of the mood, which Rupa Goswami is writing, that, O Lord of the poor, do what you like with me. Give me either mercy or punishment. But in this world, I have none to look upon. I have none to look to expect you, except your lordship. He gives the example. The Chataka bird always prays for the clouds, regardless of whether it showers rain or throws a thunderbolt. And then there's Madhavendra Puri's another verse, which is also exhibiting the same mood. That I don't want anything, I just want you, Lord. That's all. No, Sandhyavandam Bhadramastu. This is a very famous shloka. He says, O my evening prayers, all good unto you. O my morning bathe, I bid you goodbye. O demigods and forefathers, please excuse me. I am unable to perform any more offerings for your pleasure. Now I have decided to free myself from all the reactions of sin by simply by remembering anywhere and everywhere the great descendant of Yadu and the great enemy of Kamsa. I think that this is sufficient for me. So what is the use of further endeavor? And then there is Madhavendra Puri's further shloka, and then Prahlad Maharaj also. And all these things are saying one thing. The whole matter is concluded in Bhagavad Gita. Vyavasayatmika buddhi. That means we just need Krishna. We don't need to do anything. So Maharaj Parikshit was perfectly right when he finally accepted the lotus feet of Krishna, renouncing all karma kandiya conceptions. Now here, this is interesting. Now Parikshit Maharaj is going to ask questions. Very interesting questions. And after that, Sukadeva Goswami starts prayers. Now Maharaj Parikshit said, O learned Bhavna, you know everything because you are without material contamination. Therefore, what you have spoken to me appears perfectly right. Your speeches are gradually destroying the darkness of my ignorance, for you are narrating the topics of Lord. And Prabhupada is telling the practical experience of Maharaj Parikshit is disclosed herein, revealing the transcendental topics of Lord, acts like injunctions when received by the sincere devotee from a person who is perfectly uncontaminated by material things. In other words, reception to the message of Srimad Bhagavatam from professional man heard by a Karmakandi audience never acts miraculously as stated here. That means if you hear from any professional speaker, and all these people are Karmakandi overhearing also. They're just doing as a ritual. They want something from the Lord. That is the difference. Karmakandiya and devotional looks little same. They are also worshipping Lord, we are also worshipping. They are doing because they want something. And when we do, we are just doing because it gives pleasure to the Lord. We are only servants. Servant means what? When you serve, the master should receive pleasure. For what about servant? You don't need anything. He's happy doing that service. That is the constitutional position. When Prahlad Maharaj asked by Narsimha, what do you want? He said, my Lord, I just am a servant only. I don't need anything. You are always my master. I am always your servant. You always be happy by accepting my service, and that's my happiness. That is the mood. Like a mother is having a very 3 4 months old months child in the lab, and mother is not expecting anything from child. Child only cries and sleeps, and he just smiling sometime. But mother is happy doing all things for the child. Nothing comes from the child. That is what is love with pure love. And then only there is some things that will happen. So here Maharaj Parikshit is giving up all these material things. He said, no, I just want to please the Lord. And here, and he's just telling nothing else is needed. And this purport, previous purport is so nice. Prabhupada is giving so nice conclusion. What is the mood of Parikshit Maharaj? You can again read that purports, develop that mood. And if that mood is there, then this next shloka will come. That completely. And then Prabhupada is writing, this is the practical experience of Maharaj Parikshit. That these topics are acting like injunctions, and which is received from the sincere devotee. But if it is heard from a professional person and then karmakana never acts miraculously as stated, devotional hearing of message of Lord is not like hearing ordinary topics. Therefore, the actions will be felt by the sincere hearer by experiencing the gradual disappearance of ignorance. So, यस्य देवे पराभक्ति यथा देवे तथा गुरो तस्यैते कथिता हि अर्था prakashante mahatmanah. Very nice shloka. When a hungry man is given food to eat, he will satisfaction of hunger and the pleasure of dining simultaneously. That he does not have to ask whether he had actually been fed or not. The crucial test of hearing Srimad Bhagavatam is that one should get positive enlightenment by such an act. So this is the difference. If we are eating food, it is satisfying the heart and it is satisfying the stomach also. And then we don't need anything. Similarly, when we are hearing Bhagavatam from a proper source, from a right person, same thing should happen to us also. We should feel completely satisfied and nourished. That is what is expected. But if we hear from professional people, it is only till mind. It cannot go till heart. Because the person, when he is doing, he is expecting some money from us. Is professional people, they expect money. As that means what? The devotional part is missing for him also. He may have some emotions, but no devotion. Because he is interested in money. If I am interested in Krishna, then why I need money? You should have faith that Krishna will take care. I need not ask also. Whatever is needed, Krishna will provide me. They say, oh, we are having some institutions, we take care of cows, we take care of poor people, we feed, we have to run our institute, and we are bringing so many people for kirtan and bhajan. We need to pay all of them. Yeah, that is there. But that also Krishna will take care. You just give katha, you will get some people, whatever they give money, it will be sufficient to maintain the team of your kirtan party. And Goshala and ashrams, whatever money you get in donation, based on that you maintain them. Not that to maintain them you raise funds. No, we should not cut our hand based on the kurta. We should cut kurta based on our hand. Similarly, whatever donation you are getting on its own accord, with that you maintain your ashram. Don't ask people and maintain the ashram. You can ask donation other times, but not for giving katha. You just give katha, somebody arranges katha, you give katha. And after that, in the end of the katha, you can ask, okay, if somebody is interested to serve the ashram, please give. That is not wrong. But before only you say 20 lakhs for my katha, then it becomes a professional reciters. Then there will be problem. Then what is happening is before only you don't have faith on Krishna. That if you need 20 lakhs or 10 lakhs or whatever is money is needed for ashram, you pray to Krishna and Krishna will provide. You go on to service to the public. You go and give kathas because they charge very big, 10 lakhs, 20 lakhs, and very good professional, and they sing very nicely. They do, and they give this reason my ashram is there. But you arrange a katha. At the end of katha, you can ask, "Can you provide me?" And Krishna may give more money also than what you are expecting. You can get in donation. You may get 30 lakhs. You just ask 10 lakhs, 20 lakhs per katha. The point is what? Why you get? Because when you speak in that way, you are changing the heart of the people who are hearing. You are very good in singing, good professional kathakars. If they, without taking money, they can just do completely depending on Krishna. Because they are depending on Krishna and they are speaking, they can speak from their heart. And that enters into the heart of other person and his heart will also change. That is the advantage. Otherwise, it becomes what Prabhupada is saying here. Does not have any very big benefit. And now he is asking, now Parikshit Maharaj is asking question. So this is the point. Professional reciters, you may say, Prabhuji, they have devotion, they are doing so much service to cows, they are feeding thousands of people every day, and they are staying in Dham. Do they don't have devotion? They have devotion, otherwise they will not be able to do. We don't deny. What is the problem is when they are speaking, they have some devotion, but their faith on Lord is not so much. That is why they are asking money. Some devotion will be transferred and people will get some pious credit, but they cannot get. Prabhupada went. Prabhupada did not have to ask. Krishna provided because he is investing on people's heart. When we invest in people's heart, give them. Prabhupada was giving. He is only serving. He used to go to some big people and he used to ask, can you help us in our mission? And that's all. And anybody comes, Prabhupada was directly trying to serve that person. He just don't want to just take money. He wanted to give them Krishna. Then there is a difference. Now people want to impress. They wanted to give some pleasure to the audience. Then it is not correct. Otherwise, because if you are taking money, then you are always in a mood to impress that because you are taking so much money, you have to perform also. If you don't take money, then there is no need of performance. This way, these classes are easy. Now, because we don't take any money, then it becomes easy. Sometimes we want to cancel, cancel. And we wanted to, because there is no pressure that, oh, I have taken 5,000 rupees for each cant of Bhagavatam. Now I have to give them properly, otherwise. And then there is a demand. The relationship is not pure. You don't take anything. Only discussion, only relation is Bhagavatam. That is the best way to have relationships. That is pure also because the relation is nothing official about it. Just discuss Krishna Katha and that gives satisfaction for both the person who is hearing and the person who is speaking because the relation is only to serve, and this is very easy and happy. The question is, to convert Pratikul to Anukul, faith on Krishna is sufficient? Yes, faith on Krishna. That is unfavorable, convert into favorable. Hope you had any questions on Bhagavad Saptas? Anybody? It is clear, hopefully. This Prabhupada in the first canto also Prabhupada told about professional hearers, and this canto also is mentioning. This is my understanding. When people take money, I feel it does not touch people's heart. Even though they may be touching, it is still the mind only. It's not till heart. And when so many shots that are circulated in the social media, that also not going to touch the heart. It is still the mind, because it looks like very impressive, but it is not going to change much. When will heart change? When there is a proper transmission of knowledge, as a guru disciple, as now we are all hearing from Krishna, Prabhupada. We wanted to do it in a proper way. We are doing it. So then this is a right way to develop, understand knowledge. Here we just wanted to hear from Prabhupada, understand what Prabhupada is giving, and then heart will. You are saying some electrical issues. Powers. Okay, we will just do the last one. It's a big one. I beg to know from you how the personality of Godhead, by his personal energies, create this phenomenal universe as they are, which is inconceivable even to the demigods. So this is the first question he's asking. Yeah, it will explain DT version. Yeah, next time I'll worship on DT version. And now this is the first question. Now he's going to ask some other set of questions, Parikshit Maharaj, and which will continue for the rest of Srimad Bhagavatam. Yes, I beg to know from you how the personality of God by his personal energies creates this phenomenal universe as they are, which are inconceivable even by the great demigods. Now Parikshit Maharaj 7 days already, maybe he just started. He's asking about how the creation happens. Prabhupada is right. In every inquisitive mind, the important question of creation of the phenomenal world arises. And therefore, for a personality like Maharaj Parikshit, who was to know all the activities of Lord from his spiritual master, such an inquiry is not uncommon. For every unknown thing, we have to learn and inquire from the learned personality. The questions of creation is also one of such inquiries to be made to the right person, the spiritual master. Therefore, must be one who is Sarvagnya, as stated here and before in connection with Sukadeva Goswami. Thus, all inquiries of God which are unknown to the disciple must be made from the qualified spiritual master. And here the practical example of Maharaj Parikshit. Prabhupada gives some nice. The common man also knows that the creation is made by some creator and is not created automatically. We have no experience in the practical world where that the thing is created automatically. Foolish people say that creative energy is independent and acts automatically as electric energy works. But the intelligent man knows that even the electric energy is generated by an expert engineer in the localized powerhouse, and thus the energy is distributed everywhere under the residential engineer's supervision. The Lord's supervision is connection with creation is also mentioned. This is very important. See, when you know that this world is created, that means it has a purpose. We should know what is the purpose of this creation. Then we'll know how to act in this world. If you don't know the purpose, then we act wrongly and we are unhappy. The reason we are unhappy in this world proves that we are not acting according to for the purpose which this world is created. That's why we are unhappy. But if you are knowing the purpose for which it is created and you are acting accordingly, then will not be unhappy properly. An inexperienced boy may struck with wonder by seeing the impersonal actions of electronics, or many other wonderful things conducted by electrical energy. But an experienced man knows that behind the action is a living man who creates such energy. Similarly, so-called scholars and philosophers of the world may studying the Bhagavad Gita can know that behind the creation is the hand of the Supreme Lord. Oh, this is the research scholars find out the cause of and effect of everything. By research scholars as great as Brahma, Shiva, Indra, and many demigods are sometimes bewildered, seeing the wonderful creation of energy of the Lord. So, what to speak of tiny mundane scholars? So, even Brahma, Shiva, they are all bewildered. This is. Another question is hearing Bhagavatam Saptah from ISKCON Guru fast, complete Bhagavatam is correct, or hearing every shloka from Guru, it will take some time, which is Bhagavad Saptah by ISKCON, any Bhagavad Saptah, na? It is to take only inspiration and some realizations which they are giving. But for personal understanding of Bhagavatam, it should go systematically. We should go systematically. And from Guru, we will not be able to hear now. We are hearing from Prabhupada and we have to discuss like what we are doing now because Guru cannot take every shloka for us. But he can give inspiration to read Bhagavatam. He will give some insights of some sections of Bhagavatam. That's what happens in Bhagavad Sattas now, which ISKCON Gurus are giving. They are giving some insight, some understanding of some sections. But whole Bhagavatam, we have to learn in this way. We have to learn the logic of Bhagavatam. We have to learn very systematically from the beginning, every canto, every chapter should be understood properly. We may not, every shloka we may not, but every chapter we need to have an understanding. We learn something from every chapter and then move ahead. And that time we'll understand the Ashray Tattva, which is the 10th topic. That's how Bhagavata should be understood. Bhagavad Saptas are okay, but it is not going to make so much difference in life. But if you go through systematic Bhagavatam, that will definitely make a difference. Because this is the logic of Sukadeva Goswami. He wants us to learn every chapter like this only. We also have to go what Sukadeva Goswami is teaching because he is the first teacher of Bhagavatam. He has taught to Parikshit Maharaj. We should also learn the lessons like that only. Without learning third class, fourth class mathematics, if you go for 10th class mathematics, we'll definitely make mistakes. And if you go for engineering PhD, we'll not understand also. It looks like mathematics, but it is not understood only. Like I was giving example, when third class girl came in the temple and I wrote d by dx of cos x. I asked, is it English or mathematics? She told it is English. She didn't understand that it is d by dx also can be mathematics. Similarly, for us also will not be able to understand so many things from Bhagavatam if we are not going very systematically the way Sukadeva Goswami want us to learn. It looks like okay, some nice shloka, something, but no, the depth can we can experience the depth and that feelings and everything will come at the end. If you see Parikshit Maharaj, when Sukadeva Goswami is telling, oh, Kamsa is sending a very dangerous Kechari Rakshasi, Putana is coming, and he is becoming fearful. We think, what is there to be fearful? We know Krishna is Supreme Lord, nothing will happen to him. But why Parikshit Maharaj is so concerned? And immediately to pacify Parikshit Maharaj, Sukadeva Goswami is telling, wherever the Lord's Kirtan happens, all these evil elements will not affect. So don't worry. Why Parikshit Maharaj is affected? Does he not know Krishna is Supreme Lord? We all know. He is not informed so much. What happened is there was a change in the heart. The feeling for Krishna was developed. The love for Krishna got developed. That is the advantage in hearing the way Sukadeva Goswami is teaching. So how many times we hear Puta, nothing is happening. But if you go through the way Sukadeva Goswami is teaching, by the time we come to Putana, we may also feel, oh, what will happen to Krishna? That is the way, that is how Sukadeva Goswami made Parikshit Maharaj enter into the Leela. We will also enter the Leela one day by hearing from Sukadeva Goswami like that. That is my understanding. Bhagavad Sapta is inspiration, but the way it should be learned is every chapter. Yes. So great scientists, research scholar Brahma, Shiva, Indra, they are bewildered. What to speak of? As there are differences in living conditions of different planets of the universe, As one planet is superior to other, the brains of the living entity in these respective planets are also of different categorical values. From Bhagavad Gita, one can understand that the long duration of life of inhabitants of Brahma planet is inconceivable to the inhabitants of this planet. Similarly, the categorical value of brain of Brahma is also inconceivable to any great scientist of this planet. That means if Brahma has 4 heads, that means how intelligent he must be. Like that. And we'll take last two pairs. Maharaj Parikshit did not ask his spiritual master Sukadeva Goswami to narrate. See, this is important. This is what I want to do. Maharaj Parikshit did not ask his spiritual master Sukadeva Goswami to narrate Krishna's pastimes in Vrindavan. He wanted to hear first about Lord's creation. Sukadeva Goswami did not say that king should hear about the direct transcendental pastimes of the Lord because the time is very short. The time is very short, and naturally, Sukadeva Goswami could have gone directly to the 10th canto to make a shortcut of the whole thing, as generally done by the professional reciters. But neither the king nor the great speaker of Bhagavatam jumped forward like like the organizers of a week-long Bhagavatam readings. Both of them proceeded systematically so that future readers and hearers may take lessons from the examples of the procedure of reciting Bhagavatam. This is the point. Now, they did not jump. This won't work only. That's why he said, see, even though I have 7 days, I'm going very systematically. At least we have few years to live. Na? Why we have to jump? We can also go systematically. Parikshit Maharaj has 7 days, he's reading whole Bhagavatam. Why we should hurry? We will also go. Papa says, those who are under the control of external energy of Lord, or in other words, those who are in the material world, must first of all know how the external energy of Lord is working under the direction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Afterwards, one may try to enter into the activities of his internal energy. The mundaners are mostly worshippers of Durga Devi, the external energy of Krishna, but they do not know that Durga Devi is but the shadow energy of Lord. Behind her astonishing display of material working is the direction of the Lord, as confirmed in Bhagavad Gita, Brahma Samhita also. This is a nice point. Only when one knows Krishna's greatness can one firmly put his unflinching faith in him. Otherwise, like the common men, even the great leaders of men will mistake Lord Krishna for one of many demigods or a historical personality or a myth only. The transcendental pastimes of Lord in Vrindavan or even at Dwarka are relishable for persons who have already qualified themselves in advanced spiritual techniques, and the common man may be able to attain to such a plane by gradual progress of service and inquiries, as we shall see in the behalf of Maharaj Parikshit. This is the way. What happens is why people say so many things about Krishna. We cannot clarify only. People have so many doubts, so many things they have about Krishna. We try to qualify, but it is so many times it's useless. Because to clarify about Krishna, you should read first 9 cantos. Then only you will understand what is Krishna. Of course, some people are pious, they will understand. Some Sukriti is there for them. But many people don't have Sukriti only. They don't even understand. They always criticize. They will always make comments. They can never understand. What to speak of other religious people? Even the Hindus, so-called Hindus, they cannot understand properly Krishna. Why? Because they're singing songs about Krishna, they are doing bhajans of Krishna, they are doing so many things for Krishna. Still, you cannot understand Krishna. Why? You have not read first 9 cantos. That's what is Prabhupada is telling here. Not possible only. To understand transcendental, one who knows Krishna's greatness can one firmly put one's unflinching faith on him. That is possible only you have gone systematically. Okay, thank you all very much. Hope there are no questions. We'll end here. Tantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.